Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Writers Chat. This is the place where the community of writers like to gather together, talk about all things writing for writers and by writers. And we're so glad to see everybody here today. We've got kind of a mismatch of topics. We're going to talk about lead magnets and mailing lists and newsletters and kind of follow up a little bit what we talked about last week. So we're glad to see everybody here. And what kind of, I think and I'm just going to thank Johnny and Brandy and Melissa for always being there behind the scenes and helping to present today and asking questions and monitoring the chat and all that. So we'll try to make this kind of a fun, interactive buffet of information today. So on that way. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a little bit about lead magnet basics. Then we're going to turn to Johnny and talk more about newsletters, kind of how you format them, right? How you kind of format it, put it together. And then we're going to end up with Melissa's going to show us Mailer Lite, which is a email provider, how you set this up. So it's not all the answers and all the forms of everything, but it will give you a background of some just possibilities that you could do. So that sound good? Anything else you want to add, Brandy, Johnny, or Melissa before we start? Okay, I'm going to dive in. And this is the basics when it comes to lead magnets. So, and we'll just present part of this and that. So what is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is like a free, usually a digital gift that you offer someone in exchange for their email address. We think it would just be simple. Hey, sign up for my newsletter. And most people won't do that. Or sign up and get my blog every week in your mailbox. Yeah, like I really want more email. And so you got to entice them. You offer them something in exchange. Get them giving you the name and the email is like payment for something that puts you on. And you want to do that because you want to grow your email list because you own that. And that is where you can send out information about your upcoming book, or maybe that you're available for speaking, or that you're doing this wonderful writers conference, or whatever you want to share with them. Johnny will give us some ideas, the newsletter on that way, but it is something you're giving them something of value on that way in exchange for the email list. And I'm going to give you some examples, but just give you a few examples right now. And then I'm going to talk, and I didn't warn them I'm going to do that. So my co-hosts here start thinking about what I'm going to read a big list of examples, both for fiction and nonfiction here in just a minute. And think what you might add or expand upon. Hey, I tried that one and this is what I saw. So listen to that list, but a couple examples right off the bat to get you to think. I like printables or templates. A lot of times I like to download those checklists, recipes. I am not a food blogger at all, but I download recipes all the time. And I will give my email to get on somebody's email list if they really got some good recipes on that. And we talked last week a little bit about challenges, like a 3-day challenge or a 5-day challenge on that. And I really like that idea. Bethany shared that idea last week, and I really, really like that. But the templates and the graphics and the infographics, the real picturesque ones, I really like those. But I'll share a few more in a few minutes. But I want to give you an image, what it's kind of like. And I learned this in one of my workshops, and it just kind of stuck with me about the importance of all this sequencing we're doing with lead magnets and stuff. So I want you to think about, you're going fishing and you're in a big lake and you want to catch some fish for your fish tank at home. Maybe it's the real pretty ones in the salt water, whatever. And so the fish are your potential customers. Those are who you want to try to get their emails from. These are the ones that your reader that matches that. The lead magnet is the bait. That's what's attracting them to you on that. The hook is like the landing page. And I think Melissa's going to show us a landing page where you collect their email address on that way. You bring them into the fish tank, and that is your email list, your 700, 400, 302, well, you got a fish in that fish tank. And then your follow-up emails, that nurturing, is the care and feeding of them, cleaning the tank, giving them good food to eat, keeping them alive, keeping them on your email list. I really like that image of that a lead magnet being the bait to kind of pull them in. That kind of sounds a little, maybe not so good, but anyway, you get the idea. It's the bait to attract the reader that you want to reach out for, that might be potential customers for your blog, for your speaking audience, for your influencers, even to help promote a book, or readers for your book on that way. So it's important to have. It's important that and it takes time to develop. I just saw somebody just say that that they didn't have an email list yet, and that's okay. We all started with 0 on our email list. I think one of the first persons who signed up for my blog was Johnnie. I had my friend, and I had this, and I had these 4 people on my email list, and it takes time to nurture them and grow them. I have found lead magnets, and someone asked how many lead magnets, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I have found lead magnets is to be the key thing in growing my email list. So that's why I kind of believe how important they are. And it's a couple of tips, I think, to help you think about what you would use as an email, as a lead magnet. Let's first know who that target audience is. What is that little fish hungry for on that? It's got to be something of value to them in order for them to give up that email address. I don't know how often I get asked for my email address. I think, and I check right off that page. So it's got to be something important as far as that, because people are pretty selective what they sign up for on that. And I don't think you have to, I've watched people agonize over having just the right initial. Just get one and get started. You could always change it up. And in fact, I was just thinking about that this morning, that the one I offer right now on my blog, I need to come up with another one that's more aligned with this book that I have to come out next year. So you can constantly change it. So don't agonize over too much about the right one. Just jump in and start doing it. You'll find out, and you'll tweak it as it went along. I've added several over the years on that way. The second tip is to be sure it's solving a problem for that little fish. What are their pain points? What are they seeking? What are they looking for? Are they looking for, to me, a lot of times they're looking to, how can they find more time to be with God? How can they enrich their prayer life? That's a lot of my readers on my website. What are they hungry for? What are they looking for? So that's kind of, think who that ideal reader is. That should help you with your presentations and your books and your approach anyway. And I think the next thing is make it easy to consume. You are not going to give them a full book. You are not going to give them something really complicated. You're not going to give them 10 hours of video. Keep it very simple, very short. I think some of the best lead magnets are 1 page, when I print them off, maybe 2 or 3, but 1 page, something I can consume in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, not 2 hours, so keep them short and sweet. I think sometimes using a number, 10 tips to, 10 tips to enrich your prayer life, 13 ways to create a space for God. An odd number sometimes works. 17 approaches, 17 Bible verses, that talk about hospitality. I'll just throw that one out. So anyway, it's supposed to give them a taste. Remember, it's bait on a hook. It's not feeding them the rest of the life. It's bait. Baits are usually kind of pretty small. So it's to bait them in, and it's small. And then I think it helps if it's closely related to your main topic. I really, really like organizational stuff. I really like, I mentioned recipes. I really like planners, happy planners, but that's not my target audience. So I really struggled with that for a while because I wanted to create lead magnets and do this whole thing on organization and stuff. That's not my main audience that I'm trying to nurture into the fish tank. So I had to really focus on what's going to be my general themes. We've talked in the past about buckets. What are my like 6 buckets of general themes and topics that I address in my ministry? And I had to stay within those boundaries. So it became focused on that. Now, here's some examples of some good lead magnets. First, I'm going to read you some examples for nonfiction writers. And I have my 2 fiction writers here with me. So, but I also then, I found a list of some fiction for fiction authors too. So I'm going to read both lists, and then I'd like Melissa and Johnnie, before I wrap up here, jump in for a minute and expand on 1 or 2 or add something else. Okay, so here are nonfiction ideas. A challenge, we talked about that last week, like a 3 or a 5-day challenge. Sometimes you could offer exclusive access to a Facebook group. There's things like pop-up Facebook groups that you could do only for a short period of time. While you do this challenge, you can offer them to be able to, the secret to join this group on that. It could be checklists, it could be videos, it could be webinars or an audio. I mentioned printables, it could be a coloring sheet. I did a word search a number of years ago that people liked on that. It could be a cheat sheet, a resource file, a case study, a transcript. I mentioned templates on that. So it's a lot. It could be almost anything. Think about what triggers you to give your email list. What is it? And I often find it's checklists and templates and printables, so I have a tendency to think about that. So think what triggers you. That will probably help trigger your reader. Now, here's some ideas for fiction authors. A short novella with the same characters, but a little bit different story. A serial story delivered by email. I'm thinking Johnnie may have done something along that line. You could share your writing experience, kind of the background information. How did you plot this complicated historical novel? Chapter upgrades. That means taking a chapter maybe and putting it from an entirely different point of view. How did the wolf see the 3 little pigs? That sort of thing, something totally different. Quizzes or tests based on your characters. You could do the secret life of character X. What really is going on behind that female character that's always chasing men? I don't know, on that way. Certain activities related to your story, such as puzzles or maps or recipes. Now, I know both Rhonda, who's in the chat, and Melissa are into castles. You know what I'd love to see, and this would be really complicated, so this might be a little bit more than a lead magnet. Do you know how when you play video games and they take you into a castle or they take you down thing? I would love to see the castle that's in your mind that your characters live in, to walk through and actually see. I did just think that. I don't know how to do it, it's probably too much, but whoa, I would pay money for that. I think if I really liked the book, I think that would be an upgrade maybe on that. But I just think to see the map, to see the castle, see the inside, see the room where it happened would be exciting on that way. So any sort of activities that go along with your story, and recipes is another good example on that way. And maybe just like a diary of a certain character. What is their daily life like? Kind of a glimpse on that, some sort of background of that. So you guys, we have Brandy back on. Any of you guys have something, one of those that you've used, or another idea to add? What would be an example of a lead magnet?
Well, you actually sparked on one that I'm in the middle of working on. That what you're talking about is a digital 360 tours. And
Okay.
so you can take online tours of different places. And there are a lot of websites that actually offer those for different places. And one of the lead magnets I am working on is involves tours of ancient sites in Ireland. So
Great.
yeah, that's a fun one. And I've had a lot of people request that. In fact, my initial lead magnet was a survey of readers to see what they wanted for lead magnets. So there's an idea right there for all of our followers. It's a special survey that you can attach to your onboarding sequence that asks them, what do they want to see? What do they want to know about? So
I don't know if you read what Rhonda wrote in the chat. It was like, find the castle rat, sort of like, where's Waldo? I think that is great. That is great. And you call them 360-degree digital tours. I think that would be phenomenal. I just think that would be phenomenal.
I would sign up for that. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Johnnie or Brandy, you got anything to add or expand on?
I don't really have a lead magnet because, so here's the thing. I do really well with sending out my newsletter every month and have gotten really good at that. I'm still not good at some of the other parts of the newsletters, and the lead magnet is one of them. So it has really been on my mind lately what to do. And I'm thinking, I had a short story appear recently in an anthology with the Mosaic collection called Paper Trail. And it's a story told with images. So there's no text. There's text within the images, but there are no words. And so you really have to, and it's very short. It's probably like 5 pages, right? Just the images. Mm-hmm. So you really have to dig into those images to figure out what's going on in the story. And I think that's going to be my lead magnet as soon as we're kind of freed up from having it. There's a certain time it just has to be in the anthology. But Jeannie, you said a couple of things that really interested me that were a little different. You said reading challenge for nonfiction, but I think that one just really sparked me too, because you do see these reading challenges like, read a book based on a movie, read a fiction book. So I think that could transfer to novels very easily, where you get people out of their comfort zone, maybe to read a genre they hadn't read before, or say, here's a reading challenge of 5 things for starting off the new year or something, read books.
And you've done contests. You've done contests too. And in a way, if you're getting email addresses from that, and I didn't even put that on the list. That could be a whole writer's chat.
I like the quiz I did too. When my Misty Willows series was done, Ravel created so there are 3 books. So there's 3 heroines, 3 heroes. And they did and I was really proud, not in a bad, sinful way, but proud that my heroes were not the same. Like, because this is like my first contemporary romance series, right? So it's like, you're scared about lots of different things. And one thing I was scared of would be that I'd be writing the same heroine over and over and over again, even if I didn't mean to, that would just be what happened. And it really did not happen. My heroines are very distinct people. One of them is very like me, and the other 2 are not like me at all. So they did which heroine are you? Which hero are you? And it was a great quiz. And you would go through and answer these, or which hero would you fall in love with, I guess is what it was. So it's like, and it was so cool. And it was the neatest thing. Well, now this has been years ago, so those links are broken. I don't even know what happened to those contests, but that was a great thing to be able to send out. And they're the ones that did it. I didn't do it, so I don't know how to do that, but it is a great thing. And I think there was a program that, you could do it, and they had the pictures and the graphics. And so that is a wonderful, wonderful idea. But I wanted to ask you about pop-up Facebook groups, because I have never heard of, I'm going to follow a rabbit trail, people. I have never heard of pop-up Facebook.
Pop-up Facebook group is creating a Facebook group that, is private, that you have to invite people to, that is temporary. For, say, you do that, book launch teams do that all the time.
Oh, okay.
That's just a different way of thinking about it. Book launch teams might have it. You might have one that's correlating, like, I write a lot about the seasons of the year. Maybe I would just do an Advent
Mhm.
pop-up group where we would, and then so they could discuss, I would come on and I'd answer questions, I would share resources that maybe not be anyplace else. So it's become something of value to them. So pop-up Facebook group, it's exclusive invitation to that. It's an idea.
Then do you totally close, like, so my book launch when it's kind of like more active at certain times than kind of like, just inactive, which I've got to rethink all of that too. But anyway, is that what you do? You just kind of go inactive, or you actually close it down?
They actually closed it down. The last one I was with, they had said right from the beginning this was going to be active through, and I couldn't remember the date, August
Sure.
31st or something like that. We're not even there yet. But anyway, August 31st. And then on August 31st, they shut the group down.
That is so
So,
fascinating to me.
Yeah, to me, it's pop-up Facebook groups. I think there's a lot out there on
The
that. I've never tried.
short-term commitment, I like it.
Mhm. It's very appealing to people. And I think it could work under certain circumstances on that one. I know my part's getting a little bit long. Brandy, did you have a lead magnet idea that you wanted to share real quick? And then I've got a wrap up thing.
Yeah, I tend to think about things that are more graphics related because that's just kind of where I am. So I tend to go with maybe Zoom backgrounds or a pile of memes or clip art that people could maybe use on their own that might be related. Can work really well for fiction. But I have to admit, I'm behind everybody else in the website and the newsletters and all of that, just because I had a 10-year period where I was completely out of the publishing world for the most part, except for just my own personal training. So I am probably like a lot of our viewers at the very basics where I will be starting this. So this is good information for me to learn, but, it prohibits me from, speaking from knowledge of having done a lot of it.
Yeah, and graphics are always, if you got that kind of talent, that is super. I think anything visual, we're becoming more and more and more of a visual society, and anything visual. So back to the castle, the rat in the castle, or whatever Rhonda's idea was, I think it was great. The last thing I want to add, because I want to have time, so we have time for the other topics, is somebody asked how many. And I use lead magnets in two ways. And this is not the only ways, I'm sure, but I use them in two ways. I have one on my sidebar of my blog that says sign up here to get this blog, and in exchange I give you, and I don't know what's up there now, like 13 ways to enhance your prayer life or something like that. It's prayer related, I know that. And so that's my main lead magnet that people sign up for. But what I also, within my blog posts, I often include a resource that is a lead magnet that they have to give me their email address for. I'll give you a couple examples. I did a series on creating sacred space within your home, things, time, place, things that you might want to think about. And I put it all together in one resource guide. And if they wanted that resource guide, they clicked here, they gave me their email, I sent them the PDF of that resource guide. But that was a blog post series. I created 10 ways to wake up your sense of wonder, because I did some blog posts on wonder. I do the holiday ones are always popular. I'll do a Pentecost resource guide. That thing gets downloaded every year. Somebody finds that. I bet that gets downloaded 20 times every Pentecost as Pentecost comes. I have an Advent resource guide on that. Keeping a spiritual journal is my absolute biggest one. I need to do something with that in conjunction with this book coming up. That gets downloaded weekly. I'm getting somebody on my email list downloading that particular resource. 50 books on prayer, 101 prayer triggers. I did spiritual practices. I have them developed on hospitality. I did a word search. I did 10 Celtic blessings. I like to promote that around March, because Celtic, St. Patrick's Day. What I found about all these other ones, and it took me a long time. I probably developed maybe 1 or 2 a year at the most. So don't think you could do all those all at once. Don't let that overwhelm you. But what I have found out is people find those later because they're connected to a blog post. They Google Celtic blessings, and that blog post will come up. So they're reading a blog post that I wrote 5 years ago and downloading it. So I get them now on my email list. It's a win-win that way. The other thing I found out is that when I do speaking, let's say I was doing a talk around the month of March, I would probably incorporate something about St. Patrick, And I would probably say, here's a handout for you all. Or what would be even better is direct the audience that if you want to get this handout on Celtic things, here's where you go download them and collect all their emails. But, I've used them as handouts is what I'm trying to say, as I've done speaking, I've done teaching and stuff. So when you develop this wealth, these lead magnets could be a treasure chest of material for you in whatever your ministry or your outreach is. So the answer is, how many do you need? I think you need one basic one to get them signed up on the email list. And you can continue to create them if you've got something to attach, either in a newsletter or in a blog or something, or in social media even. You can collect them through social media. Are you looking for a recipe on such and such? Click here, and then they click it. So anyway. Then,
Jean, we have a couple of people that are questioning how to use more than one lead magnet, because one person says, well, most of the people that read my blog are already on my email list. So then what do I do with the lead magnet for that? And then somebody else says, so then you give your readers something now, and then besides a lead magnet for signing up?
I give them something for signing up. Yes. And then as they read the blog, probably 2-3 times a year, another one may come up. And yes, some of them are duplicate. I use Aweber as my mailing thing, which I know Melissa's talking about. Mailer Light here in a minute. They only get on the list once. So they're not getting duplicate stuff. They only get on the list once. I have 2 lists on Aweber. One is only comes from my sidebar, and all the rest come from lead magnets. So I have them kind of segmented. I get more unsubscribed from the little lead magnet one than I do from the subscriber one. So that's sort of an interesting insight. But it's like I said, it's been a slow growth, but I've grown my mailing list. I looked this morning and I'm about 1,800, so it's growing. I wish it was thousands, but it's not. But anyway, it's just, it works. Like I said, lead magnets have been one of the best things for me to grow. I know, did we miss anything else, Brandy, question wise, right off?
I don't know about for others. It still seems a little bit fuzzy to me, putting freebies on your blog and then.
Okay, I put
but
on the sidebar.
Maybe it could be just me. So
okay, on the sidebar is where they sign up for the email list, and I give them something there. What I do within the body of the blog post, usually at the tail end, I'll say, hey, if you're interested in more details, click here for a free resource on how to curl your hair. Free resource on that. And then they click that, which takes them to the landing page to get me to fill out the stuff, which takes them to on that.
Okay.
One.
And I'll be demonstrating a little bit of the hands-on aspect of that. So then hopefully that'll help demystify some of this that's unclear, just because people need a visual to see so they can understand it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Thanks.
Okay, Johnnie, you're going to talk about newsletters. Somebody just asked the difference between newsletters and blogs, and you might want to even kind of address that a little bit, because I know you've got a background on that, and we'll have questions at the end for everybody too.
Share my screen here. If you've got a blog and you've got like follow my blog, that's going to create a different list. That's not going to put people into your newsletter email list. So this is kind of different because of that. So I'm going to jump in because I want to get through this. I'm not going to talk about a lot on the screen here because I know Melissa's going to do that. She and I both use Mailer Lite, but I just want to talk to you a little bit about figuring out what you're going to have what are you going to share with people. One piece of advice I heard from Hallie Bridgman was that you should just sign up for authors' newsletters or whatever, like for me, fiction novelist newsletters. If you've got a certain topic, you might want to start following people, get the newsletters of people who write about that same topic, and then pick and choose what you like about their newsletters and what you don't, to try to create your own. And even if you've only got one person on your newsletter list, start sending out like on a regular basis, and you need to decide what's best for you, a newsletter, even if it's only going to one person, because that's where you start, right? So I had put off writing a newsletter for years. And then I looked back, July 2018 is when I started doing every single month. I had gathered names, like I'd go speak and stuff. So I had all these names and I did put them in, and I don't know how many people unsubscribed or whatever. I have been able to grow my newsletter list because of having a novel. So one great way, if you're a novelist, to build your newsletter list is to sign up for one of book sweeps campaigns, where you give away a copy of your book and they provide you with anywhere from 600, 500 names to add to your newsletter list. So these are people that specifically, because they want to be entered in a contest for not just your book, but several books of the same genre, agree to be on your newsletter, on your email list. So I think I've done that 3 times. And that's why I have the numbers that I do, not because of doing lead magnets and not because I get them myself, because I'm not doing that appropriately. I mean, I was really glad for everything Jeannie said, because that's kind of what I need to be doing too. So anyway, but what I want to show you is just more like content. So this is the newsletter that I just sent out this week. As I was trying to decide what to do, I decided to tie my newsletter into a monthly giveaway that I was doing every month anyway, that I was doing before I ever started the newsletter, because I was doing the Novelist Unwind interviews. You all may remember that I used to do that. I would interview a novelist and I would often give away a copy of their book. So I was giving away a book a month, and I decided, you know what, that's something I can put in my newsletter because people love giveaways. So my newsletter, my giveaway is posted on the first Saturday of the month, and my newsletter comes out the following Wednesday or Thursday. And so that's always a part of it. Now, I think Mailer Lite has changed things, because it used to be just whatever I titled my newsletter. And you can see I don't do titles till last, and then I really try to do something kind of cute or clever, or, so people open it. So you can just see these are some of the titles that I have had. Subject lines. These are the subject lines of my newsletter. But then last month, for some reason, it just says titles. But if I do that, you can see the subject line is the Miracle Staircase in Santa Fe and Song of Grace giveaway, which kind of rhymes, which I didn't realize until I said it out loud. And so this time I thought, okay, well, now they've got this title separate from the subject. So I'm going to start doing it like this, so I know exactly what it is. But I think there again, you can see, and this is the one I'm going to show you. No, it's not the one I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you part of it. Invasion Vacation, Hello Autumn, and more. Now, to go ahead, since this one is done, and I wanted to show you some things, I went ahead and copied it. And that's what I do, is I copy right here, copy my last newsletter, and it creates my draft for my next newsletter. So I'm starting on September's, and we're going to edit it. So you just push this little button. The campaign name, that's the new thing I think that they have now. So that's what I'm going to do, newsletter. This is what it is. I do not do the naming until it's all over. So review and confirm, yes. Now what you're going to see here is a mishmash of the August newsletter and some things I'm going to be putting in the September newsletter. So we're going to edit the content right here of this draft. And again, it's the old news, it's last month's newsletter. Sorry, it's being so slow. And I'm not seeing the chat. So if there's anything going on, you guys will have to tell me. Okay, the first thing I do. Okay, first thing, this is now my new header on my website. So it goes here too. So this is exactly, now this is not what used to be here. This is just the second month I've had this, but you want to have something, something that just kind of tells exactly who this is. My next thing is always something personal. So I talked about what we called our invasion vacation. So this time I will, and I don't know what it's going to be yet, because it's got 4 weeks before I'm going to do a newsletter. So something that happens during this month is what I'll talk about here. Sometimes I have 2 pictures like I do here, but usually I only have 1, and then just something personal about my life. Now, it's interesting because Bethany said last week when she was talking about newsletters that, not to get into too much personal stuff, because she just wants, when she gets a newsletter, she doesn't want to read all of that. She wants to get to the meat of it. Here again, I think is a difference between those kinds of newsletters that are providing very specific information about a certain topic and a novelist or fiction writer who is really building a different kind of relationship with the reader, because I think those readers want to know a little bit about who you are. And as I look through the newsletters that I get from other novelists, they are talking about their children's weddings or their grandchildren or something. Not a great deal, but a little bit, because people have become invested in you as a person. Now, I'm rather private, so it's kind of hard sometimes for me to share this kind of thing. But, I always try to find something. People love my dogs, so I often send a picture, something about the dogs and something they're doing. So another thing I've been able to do is, because I'm part of the Mosaic collection, I'm always able to, and we have a book coming out almost every month, to do a pre-orders. Now, so this one said Open Circle, which is the name of the book I'm promoting, but I wanted to show you how to change the picture. So I left the picture from the August newsletter here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you see when I click on this one is going to move it. If I would do this, see, it would like drag it, and I don't want to drag it. I want it to stay right where it is. This is the edit button. This will make another copy of it right there. And this will delete that copy. So very, very simple. But we're going to edit this. We're going to delete this image, browse for a new image, which I have already uploaded, but if I hadn't, I could upload it here and just get it from my computer. Whoops, that's not the right one. This is the next book coming out from the Mosaic collection. And I will probably, also add something about, even though it's September, we're already, getting ready for Christmas and so forth. But anyway, the other part of this, you'll notice I just lost my title somehow, but that's okay, because I can make a copy. And I will put the title here, The Heart of Christmas. You also see there's a link. Now this link will take you to the Mosaic Collection website. That's not the link I want for the Heart of Christmas. I want this one, which I'd already put in here. So I wouldn't have to go looking for it. I'll put it back here. So I have all kinds of links. There are some people that say only have like one link in your, oh, there it is. One link or two links in your newsletter, that they should be really short. They should look more like letters. You want one call of action. This works for me. I have all kinds of links. I have a description of the book. Here again, I'm going to change this. Let me see how easy it is. I'm going to say pre-order The Heart of Christmas. So that's done. Save. This is from last month's newsletter. Like I said, just the one that just went out. I don't know what I will do here. I may add something about this book because it's still kind of new. I may not. I don't know. So here's the thing, though. On my newsletter, I have two giveaways. I announced this one, and I will tell you when this newsletter goes out there, I get all kinds of comments on my blog post. So this sends people right to the blog, because that's where the contest is. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's down here. Okay, never mind what I was just saying. Here, my giveaway. So I already changed this to September giveaway. I've got this. Lost Down Deep is the book I'm giving away. So on it too, same thing. I've got the bit.ly link, not here. Let me change it. But the thing of it is that blog post isn't even written, but because I use bit.ly links and I use a formula, I know exactly what I'm going to name it, as long as no one else has taken it. So it's my initials, the date, that's the month. So I know. Just as soon as, like the book I was just giving away, as soon as this goes out, people go to my blog. They want to enter the contest for the giveaway. There's like different things. It's Rafflecopter. There's different things they have to do. They do them all. And, I get comments on my blog. So it really works together, both my blog and my newsletter working together with this giveaway to draw in people. And then just the description of the book and contest details, and to enter, that way people know exactly what to expect, and winners must have a US address, which I added after someone said, you should have told me that before I went to your blog. So I thought, she's right. The other thing I do now, and I might have something else in here, depending on what's going on, or if there's another book to promote, or just something else I want to share, it would be between this. The very last thing, so this is like a template. It's like I follow the same kind of format almost every time, but this is my Let's Chat giveaway. And this is more personal. And it's at the bottom so that people have to scroll all the way down. They have to scroll all through whatever my grandkids are doing, my cute little grandkids, the pre-order for the next mosaic book, whatever I might be doing, the giveaway on my website. Finally, they get to the Let's Chat giveaway. This is what I'm giving away in August. So here again, just real quick, because I don't want to take up too much more time. We're going to edit this.
And just to let you know, we're about 11:45.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let me not do this anyway, because what I like to do is instead I put this down here where I announced the August winner. I already said that. So this is the July winner. Actually got this. We go down to my name, this. Feel free to forward it. My bookstore link, mosaic link, just some different things, and including all of this, which MailerLite has it all set up so you can change the formats a little bit. But see, they've got the unsubscribe button, and you put your address. This is why I have a post office box so I don't have to put my street address on here. But anyway, towards the end of that second week in September, after the first Saturday, I'll come in and I'll make more changes to this, and then it will go out. And let me see, this is right in my way. Done editing. I wanted to show you guys all these things too, and I'm sorry I didn't really get a chance to, but these are like the buttons, that the pre-order things, those were like buttons. You can do multiple images. Melissa, I don't want to get into your time too much, but let me do this really, really quick while we're here. It really is a lot easier than what you think. Like you can do image and text together. You can do a gallery of photos. So you can do like 3 or 2 or 1. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that you can do. So you can just play around with this and just drag and drop. I mean, it just makes it very, very easy to do it. Okay, I'm going to stop my screen share, and Melissa, turn it over to you.
Okay, I do have a lot of things that would cover, but don't worry, I have tutorials links that I'm going to share with you guys that's going to go through all the details. So I'm going to be going through things pretty fast, but you'll have all those links that are going to go and walk you through everything step by step, and they're going to cover the details much better than I ever could. So don't panic if I go over something too fast. I'm going to give you links to all of these resources so you can look them up for yourself and do them on your own time. Okay, so the first link I'm going to put here in the chat is to a podcast episode done by Thomas Umstattd Jr. on the onboarding sequence. And this is going to show you examples of this funnel or onboarding sequence or series of emails that you want to send out to your readers. And he's going to break down the whole process. There's a podcast episode, there's a transcript that you can read of the whole episode, and he has a free download that will give you the step-by-step process of all these emails, what to put in these emails, and how to attach it all. So, I mean, it's all covered. And so you're going to love that one. And this is what I base my automation model on. So if you go back and watch the replay to this, it's going to look more familiar and make more sense. Okay, so here, let me share my screen. Can everybody see this okay?
It's small.
Okay. I do not know how to blow it up.
Okay.
Try using the control and the plus sign. That should make your screen bigger.
Okay, let me. It's not working.
It didn't. It usually does. Bummer. I
Different
tried.
between PCs and Macs, I think there.
You always used to work on Windows too, so.
Okay, anyway, hopefully it's not too terribly small for everyone.
Yeah, I can still see it
basic,
for the most part.
You don't have to see the details, but just if you can see the basic menus and everything. Can everybody see that okay?
Mhm.
All right. So what we're going to cover is creating where to go to create a landing page, an embedded form or a pop-up, where to go to create your automation, your funnel, how to attach the lead magnet, and then a basic rundown of what these emails look like. Okay, so when you're going to create an automation, your onboarding sequence, you need to have something that's a trigger that's attached to that's going to set it off for everybody and get those emails going to their inboxes. And that's what a landing page, an embedded form, or a pop-up is. A MailerLite likes to make things a little confusing because they change up their terminology a lot. So you're thinking landing page like what we've showed, just to make things even more complicated. MailerLite's definition of a landing page is different from ours. So what I'm showing you here is probably not something any of you are going to need until you're more advanced. Their idea of a landing page is actually a mini website, and you would have to have a domain to make it work. So I had gone in and I started to create this and then realized last minute, hey, this is not what I need. I need a form or a page that I can attach to my existing website. So if you don't have a website, or you don't have a landing place that you can attach these forms to, then this would actually be handy for you. And I will include tutorials on their landing pages and the websites that you can create through MailerLite, which I know nothing about. So when you get into MailerLite, know that that terminology is a little fuzzy. What you are going to want is forms. And in forms, they give you the option for creating pop-ups that'll be on your website, or an embedded form that can be put onto your website with a link, a clickable link. All of these, their design is the same as what Johnnie demonstrated in her newsletter creation. Each one you can go in, you can edit it or create from the beginning, create a brand new one. And it's that drag and drop screen that you saw on Johnnie's screen. You will have templates that you can choose from, everything. They make it so easy. You can populate it with whatever forms you want. Just giving you a quick view of what my embedded form looks like from the back end, just so you can kind of see how it would appear for you. I'll pop it up here. And this is what people are going to see when they click on the link on my website, and it's going to take them to a page that shows them this big cross. You can change backgrounds, and then it's going to give them a basic sign up form. It's going to give a call to action. It's going to give the reason for why they would want to join. And this is where you'll allude to the, I've got this cool free lead magnet that you're going to want, you know, free stuff, your 7 steps to whatever. You'll offer that here. And then you'll request an email and a name, and you want to make sure you have your opt-in options. This is the legal stuff that needs to be included, and your newsletter providers usually have it right there. And if you want, you can add added security, which I did, and I put a little CAPTCHA in there, and they have all these options in their sidebars that you can choose. So it's not as technical as it looks. And each one is set up so that you can also create the success messages that come along with them. So when they complete a form, then this pops up. So every one of them has that. All the forms are really easy, and they have step-by-step processes to follow. It's not too technical. And now again, this is an area that I have a little bit of a beef with MailerLite, but I want to demystify it for you so that you guys realize that they have a double opt-in option for all of the forms you create. And these are the messages that go to your people that sign up to confirm that they signed up. So this is like a separate thing from those confirmation ones. And you'll have to go into each of those, make sure that they're enabled, and create them just like you did your forms. Again, it's easy, it's drag and drop. You can go into them in the editor just like you did with the newsletters. And they'll have the opt-in email that tells them, is this the email address that you want to send this to? They click to confirm, bam, they get their thank you message. And then you let them know in the thank you message, an email's coming your way. So that's what that is. And the tutorials that I share with you guys will show you how to attach these to your websites. So again, don't worry, all the technical stuff is covered in the tutorials that I'll be sharing in the live chat. And the live chat will be shared on the Facebook group, so you can always access it there. Okay,
The double
so
opt-in is pretty good because then they make sure that your subscribers have actually typed in their email address correctly.
yes, yes, it is a lifesaver that you will want to have active. And most, well, I can't say all because I'm not familiar with all newsletter providers, but all the good ones have a double opt-in option in them. And it's for your security as well as your followers. So you definitely want to have double opt-in activated. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to show you kind of what a new automation workflow looks like. Again, this is where MailerLite kind of makes things confusing because they add more terminology. The onboarding sequence or nurture sequence is what Bethany referred to it last week. In MailerLite is called an automation, and they call each one a workflow. But as you can see, you can change the title of it so that you can find it. And once you've created your landing form, you have that there to attach your automation to, and it's as simple as clicking a sliding activation button. And when you go in and create it, you're going to tell it what form you want to attach that automation to. So again, it seems a lot, but it's very simple. Oh, let's see, that didn't connect. Sorry, here we go. It takes a little while to think. Okay, so when you're first starting one, you're not even going to see all this because I kind of already cheated and did a step, but over in the sidebar, you're going to have all your little options and everything you click on is editable. When you first go in, all you're going to see is a little black square or little square up here that asks you how you want this automation to be triggered. And over on the side is going to give you all the options. I chose to have the subscribers complete a form. And yeah, I don't know if you probably can't see it on the side with images. I don't know if anything's blocking the view here, but you'll see that they have little drop-down boxes that allow you to choose the different triggers that can make your form start.
We do see that.
Okay, good. And you can title them here. There's like Johnnie said, there's the title that only you can see. And then there's going to be a place where you fill in the title for the newsletter that they're going to see. So you'll choose your trigger, and then you're going to come down, and once you've chosen the trigger, this little plus circle is going to show, and you're going to click it, and then it's going to pop up a screen asking you what you want to do next. Do you want to create an email? Do you want to create a delay for the next one, a condition, or an action? Now, this funnel is going to send something right off the bat to them after they've clicked that they want to join your newsletter. So what you want to do is create an email, and then you're going to go in and you're going to design it just like Johnnie did with the newsletter. It'll take you to a screen where you can drag and drop and customize everything. And then after you're done with that first one, you're going to want to create a delay because you don't want all of these emails to come to them all at once on the same day. So it's important that you go in and you create delays. And when you do that, you'll have this deal that pops up and asks you how many days or weeks or whatever designation you give it that you want to go by before this comes. And with your first emails, definitely only one day. Don't do months. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a pre-existing one so you can see how it looks from the other end. But I just wanted you guys to see what it's going to look like when you go to create your own automation for the first time. So we're going to go into my embedded form, and then I'm going to show you what my automation looks like. Okay, so first off, you'll see again, that box that tells you how this automation is triggered through the signing up the Clan newsletter embedded form. I attached it over on the side so that it knows that's what I want it to do. And then I created the first email, which Tom Sumstat refers to as email 0, because this is the one that's going to go right to them and start the whole sequence. So there is no delay with this one. It's going to go as soon as they confirm that this is what they want. Okay, we go into our editor so you can see what the email looks like right off the bat. And I'm going to show you some of the faults of mine. And this is the beauty about it. What Jean and Johnnie both told you guys is that this isn't set in stone. You can always go back and you can always fix it. You can tweak it and you can make it fit your audience more. And I recommend, as do others, to look at it annually at the very least, or whenever anything major changes, when your writing platform, your life, that you feel you need to update the information, go back and update your automation so that it's always up to date. Okay, so your email 0 is going to be the first welcome sequence that's going to introduce them to your lead magnet. And you want it to be kind of short and sweet, to the point, and let them know, hey, this is what you signed up for. Here it is. You can see mine got a little long. I will probably go in and try to shorten that up a little bit, because when people are first signing up, they just want that freebie right off the bat and know what to expect. And here's the other fault with mine. My little freebie has nothing to do with my platform. In fact, I had no lead magnet at the time when I created this. So I just put in a little cookie recipe to share with everybody that it has nothing to do with historical fiction. But if you sign up now, you can still get a free cookie recipe. So, go grab that while you can. To attach a lead magnet, it's not that technical. And you can totally customize it. You could make it a clickable button like this one and give it a dynamic image so that it looks more appealing. Here, I just did a link on words. And so you'll see that it's attached to a link that I put in there. When you go and you choose link from this top bar, this is what's going to pop up. And then you're going to go wherever your lead magnet is. If you put it on a Google Docs or in Dropbox or wherever online that you've put it to share, you're going to copy the link of that location and paste it here. You're going to title whatever that is, your free 7 steps to a better prayer life, or whatever your freebie is, title it. I recommend that you click open link in a new tab so that they can always come back to your newsletter if need, and then you'll save it and save it there. And voila, it's attached to your email. Okay, so the purpose of this email is to deliver that, but also to let them know what to expect in the funnel that's coming. You need to warn your readers that there's more emails coming their way so they know they're not being spammed. Let them know they're going to see a few more emails from you, however many that is. There's not a set perfect number. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you that there's about 6 total with this email 0, but again, you don't have to have that many. It's whatever works for your platform.
Melissa, it is actually noon. Do you think you can wrap up fairly quickly? I know there's a lot that you probably couldn't get to, and we might just need to follow up with another chat to get more into this, but it is noon.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. So again, just showing you that this is going to set them up for the emails to come, and then close with a personal greeting. And always make sure that all of your emails are personalized, so that they know that they can trust you. The ultimate purpose of this onboarding sequence is to build trust with your readers so that they eventually want to buy your books. And so they got to know that you're somebody that they want to be connected with and to continue to follow. Okay, so let's see, wrapping this up fast. In your second email, what you're going to do is introduce yourself to them. You're going to show them what they can expect from you, what your writing is all about, and what they can get out of it. So that's what this one's going to be all about. In the third email, you're going to introduce them to your writing. If you are a fiction writer, then here's where you're going to show them your book. If you already have a book out, then you're going to want to put links to the book where they can find it, where they can buy it. If it's not out, then tell a little bit about it and let them know what's coming. Get them excited for it. If you have a launch, that you can make mention of that here. In the third email, you're going to you can entice them with recommendations or reviews to give them a taste of what you are like as a writer, what your taste is. It's establishing credibility with them. And one thing I want to point out in the rest of the sequence, you'll notice the delays. In the first one, I had just 1 day delay from the first email they got and then the introductory email. After that, I recommend increasing the delays a little bit so they have a chance to digest those previous emails and they're not being bombarded every day afterwards. Give them a little bit of a break, 2 or 3 days just between them so that they have a chance to digest and respond, because you want to encourage people to respond to your emails and get some dialogue going. Okay, after you've established some credibility, a good thing to do is to have a connections email that that shows them your platform. Let them know where they can find you on your social medias, like Facebook and things like that. And Miller Lite allows you to connect those platforms to it. And you can even have little side, little graphics put in that shows the logos, and you connect your personal links to those logos. And it's really handy that way. And then after the connection, your final email is going to be the ask. What is it that you want from your readers? If you've got a book coming out, maybe you want to point that out to them and ask them to spread the word, you know, let them know that you have a pre-order coming out. Or if you have pre-existing books and they've read them, maybe you want to ask if they will consider leaving a review. In mine, since I didn't have a lead magnet, I mentioned it before, I surveyed my readers and asked them for their opinions and gave them some options, said, which lead magnet would you most like to see from me? So that's another big ask. And so in this whole thing, you're giving and you're giving and you're giving to your viewers and your potential readers, but don't ask of them until the very last one. And yeah, I think that's the general idea. I'm sorry we had to cut all that short.
I just put in the chat, you know, when we first talked about this topic, Melissa, you and I said, oh, neither of us have enough to fill an hour. And then we went over last week, so we brought Johnnie into this thinking, oh, we'll be fine. So we will come back to this, I'm sure. We will come back. But it is techy. It can be overwhelming. It can take some time, and we're all here to help each other. You know, we're with ideas and resources and stuff. So we will continue to address it while the recording's still on. Next week is self-editing. I can't remember. I think we have a special guest.
Kristen Stifle is going to come on and tell us how to self-edit our work. And yeah, it's going to be really good. She's going to teach you how to, I don't know. I'm using the term ferociously self-edit from Jerry Jenkins, but that's not how she phrases it. Still, you're going to learn how to catch a lot of the flaws that you might not have been able to catch before, and become a good self-editor. So you have something more polished to share with, you know, your submissions or your editors.
Yeah.
I got a couple quick things then. One thing about numbers, just really quick about that. Like when I go through on my dashboard and I'll say like, oh, only like 1.3%, you know, clicked on a link, or maybe 2%. And then it's like, oh, that's not very many. But then when you actually, like, you hold your little cursor over it, it changes into a number. And sometimes that number is like 50 or 60 or even 90. So, you know, it's like the percentage may be small, but that's actually pretty darn good, right? So I was kind of excited about that. So don't get, as you get into this, don't get really worried about those percentages, because actually I think Bethany gave the statistic last month or last week. I don't remember what it was, but it was very small percentage will actually click. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I went ahead in the Facebook group, the Writer's Chat Facebook group, there is now a newsletter thread. Please put what your questions are, what you would like to see. Like if you want Melissa to come back and do something very more specific on this, sharing her page, or, you know, whatever you want to see. If we can do that, we definitely will. So,
and we will share this chat on the Writers Chat members page in Facebook as well. And that way you can pick up all of the fantastic links for tutorials and resources there.
Absolutely.
So make sure you check out that file once we get it up later today.
Thank you, gals, for this. It's one of those boom days, but it gives us a lot of time. Remember, it's a buffet, so you don't eat everything. You don't eat everything at once. You just fill your small little plate and taste some of it and figure out your favorite and dive into. Go back for seconds on that one. So anyway, everybody, you're welcome to come on. We'll invite everybody on for the after party here in just a minute. And welcome, and we'll look forward to next week learning about self-editing. And just FYI, as we get off the recording, this is hitting the period of time where my church work is overwhelming me and my book contract is. So anyway, I won't see you for multiple weeks, but I will be back. You haven't gotten rid of me, but I will be back. So
I'll miss you.
No, thank you. I'll miss you guys. I may pop in if I have time on some days. But anyway, we thank everybody, and we'll see you all next week on Writers Chat. Bye now.